Jó reggelt kívánok! Hogy vagy? Jó? Start of another day, and the extra hour of sleep. Well, I got to tell you, the extra hour of sleep today really came in handy. Mm. And I say that because I was up painting last night until well into the morning. I'm trying to adjust my camera here. I was painting last night, well up until oh goodness gracious, midnight or something like that. And I'll tell you one thing about painting. One thing about painting, especially the painting I was doing last night, is it really gives you time to think. When you're doing other stuff like flooring and carpentry and all that other kind of stuff, it doesn't provide the same uh, I don't know what you want to call it, atmosphere or what have you, as painting does. Painting is something that hmm, painting is something that did I say Yodegal Kivanok? I think I did. But painting is something that lets you get lost in your thoughts. And boy, there was no shortage of thoughts yesterday as I was doing my painting. And a lot of different things go through your mind. I've been mulling over this whole insurance thing, and it's interesting as you get older, you become more and more or increasingly conscientious about your health. You become very uh, conscientious about your health, and different people deal with aging differently. Some people deal with aging with a certain amount of grace, and other people have a really hard time dealing with the thought of getting old. And I don't know why. Maybe I'll fall somewhere in between. Maybe I'll fall somewhere in between, or maybe I'll just fall through the crack. You know, maybe I'll just fall through the crack of life. Um, hmm. You talk about the crack of life, and it's so easy to just get swept, swept swept off, or to fall through the crack of life, and I guess what I mean by that is that it's so easy to just be forgotten. I could be some God forbid something could happen to me today, and people would be sad for a while, but then life would just go on. Life would just go on. I've learned over the years to never think that I'm really any more important or significant than I am, or than anybody else. It's just life just goes on with or without you. And but anyway, I'm kind of sidetracking on my thoughts. I was listening to a guy last night on the radio as I was working. His name was Art Bell. I think Art has deceased, but Art would do the late night show or something like that. It wouldn't surprise me if Skip Smith doesn't know who Art Bell is, because he would usually come on overnight. Uh, his shows would usually start at about 1 a.m., I think, Pacific Standard Time, and they'd go for 2 or 3 hours. And he was always talking about extraterrestrial, and just whatever topic. And last night they were playing one of his original shows. It was a rerun, if you will, as I was sitting there painting. I listen to sometimes I'll listen to KFAB out of Omaha, of all places. But anyway, so I was listening to Art Bell, and some woman called in and said, "You know what I like about your show?" And and he said, "What's that?" And the woman said, "It's very eclectic." Eclectic. I think that was the word. Alexa, what does eclectic mean? Good morning, Alexa. Oh, Alexa, I think she's Alexa, Alexa, what does eclectic mean? I don't know. Okay, anyway, my understanding of the word eclectic is that it means something always different. You know, something different, always different. And sometimes, and I found myself thinking that, you know, with my morning show, you know, it's just whatever is on my mind. You know, it's just always something different. But anyway, but that so I found myself thinking about a lot of things yesterday. I found myself thinking, you know, my mind has been preoccupied lately with this whole health insurance thing. And I was talking to a brother of mine yesterday, and he threw something out there that might be of interest to me. He said, "Why don't I get supplemental insurance?" You know, supplemental insurance. And I hadn't thought about that. You know, supplemental, I don't know if you can get supplemental insurance. I know there's supplemental insurance for Medicare, but for or is it Medicare or Medicaid? I don't know, one of the two. But I know you can get supplemental, you know, health insurance for that. But I don't know if you can get supplemental health insurance if you have the VA. It's an interesting question, but anyway, you know, my mind, as I sit here and I'm fixing up my house, I find myself thinking of you know, over the years, all the traveling that I've done, you know, and I don't mean to harp on that, but you know, a lot of people go through their lives saving, scratching and saving and putting the kids through, you know, school and raising families and what have you to get to the point in time in their life where hopefully they can do a little bit of traveling. You know, they'll save their money and they want to go on a trip, and then, you know, whatever happens in life and that those opportunities just kind of slip away from them. And as I was painting last night, and I found myself thinking, you know, number one, how fortunate I am to have done the traveling that I've done at this point in time in my life. Um, you know, it just really blows my mind. I also find myself thinking how lucky I've been, or how blessed I've been, not to have had any type of a serious accident or situation while I was abroad. So it's a you know, it's an interesting thing to think about as I move forward, and I give thoughts to my ambitions insofar as traveling here or there. But anyway, the other thing on my mind, I got a date today. I have a date today. I got to tell you, I updated I updated my I updated my profile on my dating profile, and between the pictures and what I wrote, oh my goodness gracious! I mean, talk about activity. It is, you know, I think that I opened my dating profile stating that I'm looking for the one last love in my life. You know, that's what I want, is one last love, one last lasting love, I should say. And I know there was somebody yesterday that made a comment that I'm just boring, that I'm boring you with the details of dating because I've had, you know, ample opportunity to have had love. And the individual that mentioned that, I think he mentioned that I had the lady from Portugal, you know, the lady from Portugal that wanted me to smuggle her across the Canadian border into the United States. You know, I had the lady from Portugal, and then he also cited Rosanna. And you know, I'll give you Rosanna because Rosanna is a great gal. It's just unfortunate that we have different opinions or expectations when it comes to lifestyle. But boy, I could have seen myself I could have seen myself growing old with Rosanna. But anyway, I put the line in there in my dating profile that I'm looking for one last love in my life. Just one last love. I can look back over my lifetime, and there's been a few, loves that there's been a few loves that I just made me just turn my world upside down, and that certainly would be nice to find again. One more time, just somebody that will rock my world and turn it upside down, so to speak. That's what we all want ultimately. All of us that are single or without love. I mean, that's ultimately what we want. I think it's inherent within us to a number. It's inherent within us to want to love, and it's also inherent within us to want to be loved. You know, and some people go through life and they just deny. They deny that they're afraid of being hurt, and you see that time and time and time again when you're out in the dating world. You come across people who are just afraid to open up again because they don't want to be hurt, which is understandable. But how does the saying go? You only fail when you stop trying, is how the saying goes. But anyway, I was thinking yesterday, yeah, my date today is 55 years old, and she's an American. And maybe that's been my problem over the last several years. Maybe my problem has been I haven't found a good old American girl. Maybe that's been the problem. But anyway, time will tell, and we will see, as the saying goes. But another thing that was going through my mind, I can't help but to think, about I can't help but to think about my dad. Oftentimes when I'm here at the house, and more and more, I just as time passes, I find myself thinking, how fortunate I was to have had those last few years with him. Here in the house, day in, day out, taking care of him, making him his dinner and his breakfast and just all that stuff. And now with the weather turning from the hot, humid summers into the just the beautiful winters, I find myself thinking of how much Dad enjoyed being down here. He just loved getting out of the cold winters and coming down here. But as I was painting yesterday, I was painting the railing, and it was just tedious. It really was a tedious job, and I just wanted to zip through it. I just wanted to zip through it. And as I was doing that, I recalled my dad. One of the many things my dad used to say to me was, he'd say, "Tommy, it's not how fast you do a job that people are going to remember. It's how well you do the job. That's what people are going to remember." And as I was trying to finish the painting last night, that kept going through my mind. Don't focus on how long it's taking you or how quick you can do it, but focus on how well you're doing it. And I found myself thinking, where did my dad come up with that stuff? Where did he come up with that stuff? It's not how much money you earn, it's how much money you save that's important. And I don't know where he came up with that stuff. I mean, he was just never, there was no shortage of little words of advice from him. And if a father has any responsibility to his children, it's to teach them, and to, as a mother as well, mind you. But a father, if a father has certain responsibilities to his children, it's to give them the best advice, and the best advice for a purposeful life. and I couldn't help but to think about that as I was doing my painting last night. With the words of wisdom from Dad. Hmm. But anyway, now it's on with the day. I'll show you the effort so far with the painting. If I can turn this camera around, there we go. So there is the railing. I'm almost done. I'm not quite finished yet. You see, but it came out really nice. I like it very much. I used a polar bear. I used a polar bear white satin on it, and I think it came out nice. Now I got to figure out what to do with this accent wall. You see, I've thought of different shades of blue, and I'm kind of curious to go with the gray. I'm curious to go with the gray, but I'm not quite sure. And I sure would appreciate some feedback from those of you out there as far as what color to do that. I want to open the room up is what I want to do. And I don't know about a blue or what have you, but if you look at the wallpaper is not going anywhere. So there is the wallpaper. You can see it's basically a brown, you see. And I don't know, maybe if I can find some type of a gray that'll go with if I can find some type of a gray that will go with the with the drapes and what have you. Not that I couldn't get a new pair of drapes, but there was the railing, and I got to tell you, this was tedious. It took the better part of 2 coats to do that, and I still have the railing there and the staircase going up. One of the things that I'm just dreading, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, is to paint the inside of the railing right there. You see, to paint the inside of the railing going up, because you can't get a brush. You can't get a brush in there, and it's just not realistic to take the railing off. But that's going to be a challenge. I thought of getting like a small sponge and just kind of putting a sponge in there and running the sponge up the inside of the rail. It doesn't need to be perfect, mind you. It just needs to cover that brown. But anyway, that's about it for the morning thoughts. So I hope everybody out there is doing. Oops. Hope everybody out there is doing well, and take take good care. I hope that I hope my date goes well today. Um, we will see. I asked her. We went back and forth with several text messages, and interestingly enough, when I saw her profile, she had some really, really wonderful pictures, and a lot of the pictures were pictures of her and friends. And lo and behold, one of the pictures, I looked at it, I looked at the picture and I thought, I know that woman. And it was a friend of hers. And I had dated her friend. Her friend used to be the concierge here at the community where I live. Her friend used to work at the concierge desk, and she was just a wonderful, wonderful lady. And we dated ever so briefly. We just dated, and we dated somewhat secretly because they weren't supposed to date residents. But her friend was in the profile pictures, and I made mention to that when we first started communicating with each other. I told her, I said that I briefly dated dated your friend, and I didn't know what to expect from from the from that revelation. but everything just proceeded, and we've had some wonderful exchanges back and forth. So we will see, as the saying goes. But anyway, have a great day, and remember to change your clocks back. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye bye.